Hello and welcome back to Hollow Acres Homestead. My name is Stephanie and today we are planting some more beans. So we are taking a little walk down. I had the kids help me earlier to move the greenhouse and it's a little weird looking, but I guess it's better than it was. So here's the greenhouse. Instead of covering it in the greenhouse plastic, I'm going to use this more as a sitting area. I have decided to cover the entire greenhouse with these beans. Ooh. These are a mix between rattlesnake beans and pinto beans, and I know that because where I put them in the bowl, one of my kids dumped a small little cup of pinto beans in it. So unfortunately, I'm not going to know which is growing until it starts growing. These are green snap beans. I think they were Kentucky Wonder. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then this bag is a mixture of beans and radish seeds that I saved. So I've saved all of these and now I'm going to plant them around the greenhouse. And the idea for this is for them to grow up and cover it, and then it'll be like a little bean tunnel. The soil that I'm using today is this good loamy soil, loomy, however you pronounce it. Thick, black, rich, good soil. There's a lot of organic matter in this soil, along with broken down tree parts. There's a bunch of worms in here, so this is really good soil to get started on the beans over here. So nothing fancy with the beds. I'm just laying them out probably 8 to 10 inches deep or wide and 4, 5, 6 inches thick. Now that I have my very shallow bed here, which is just perfect for the greenhouse size, I'm going to start at the front with these. These are what I think to be Kentucky Wonder green beans. I know for a fact they are green beans. Now I'm going to take my mystery bag of seeds. Most of these are rattlesnake beans. Some of them are pinto beans, and the pinto beans probably will not grow, but I'm almost certain that the rattlesnakes will. So it is really close to fall. It is not technically fall yet, but we are in the month of September, middle of September. And even though the cold weather is definitely coming in quickly, there is still plenty of time to grow things like beans. So this will be my last planting of green beans for this year. I will plant more beans again in at the end of February, beginning of March. Now, if you're looking at this greenhouse and the fact that I put the beds here, of course they're only halfway. I'll finish the rest tomorrow, but it's almost dark. But my whole idea with this greenhouse was for it to be like a living structure. My hope is that the vines will cover all the way to the top of this, and then it'll be just like a really cool hangout space, which is what I wanted to be over here. I wanted it to be like a really cool just hangout spot, a place where I want to be at. All right, it has been a few days, and I am going to first spray myself with the bug spray, and then I'm going to finish the bean house, as I'm calling it now. Spray my ankles, because they always get my ankles, and the buttocks. Since we are here at the top, let's go ahead and take a look at these seedlings. They're very dry and I need to water them as soon as possible, which will be as soon as I'm done with the bean house over there. Something got to the Celestia flowers last night. So I guess I'll just find a place to plant these out. These nasturtiums are starting to look awesome. So things are coming along. The Brussels sprouts are I need to plant these out. I wanted them to get a little bit bigger, but they're starting to get leggy and they're little pots. So I need to plant them out. I have my scissors. Now let's get down here to the bean house. It's still quite a mess, but let me show you what I did start and did not get on camera. So I took the netted trellis and I started draping it around the outside of the greenhouse, the hoop house, whatever you want to call it.
You can see our beans are starting to come up. So I need to cut the end over here and finish wrapping it around and then do the top.
So the purpose of me doing the bean house is, well, one, the greenhouse, it broke. I was able to fix the frame, but it is not going to really hold the weight of the tarp that goes on top. And also, I didn't care for the green tarp anyway. I have a video that I have been talking about the reasons why I do not like the greenery on the greenhouse. Second reason is because I want this to be like a little bean house. So I think it'll be super cool to have the beans growing along the sides and over the top before the frost comes. And if it turns out that I like this idea, I will do it again in the spring. So I wanted a cool spot to just sit and hang out. This side is technically the right side of the garden if you're looking at it from the top. And it's so shaded almost all the time that nothing really grows very well over here except for the lettuces. Where I am standing right now at the end of this is mostly shaded. It does get morning sun and afternoon sun. It works well for the beans. Beans do not mind having the shade. So I wanted to get the bean house done before the storm comes. So we're expecting Hurricane Ian. By the time it reaches us, it's going to be just tropical storm. 30 to 60 mile per hour winds. So I wanted to get this done and get all the crap picked up in the garden. That is my goal for today. Also to get a couple things planted out. How is it's twisted? So I bought this netted trellis early in the spring, and I can leave a link below in the description so that you will be able to find it. But this has lasted me all year. And there is still plenty of roll left to last me probably the next year or two. So I ended up using all of the netted trellis. So I ended up using the netted trellis on all of my archways, all of my trellises. And I mean, it works very well. I haven't had any issues with any of my trellises. I do not know exactly how long it's going to take for this to break down. Probably 3 or 4 years maybe, depending on, the weather conditions and what have you. But it was more price efficient, more cost efficient to get this netted trellis as a large roll than it would be to even buy one cattle panel. One cattle panel would not have gotten me as far, nearly as far, as this trellis has been getting me. Okay, the sides are done. The kids are fighting. I'm going to, I guess, finish the top later. When is that going to be? I don't know, probably another week. I have more things to do in the garden. The sides are done so that the beans can go ahead and start growing up. Some of these are really close together, so what I'll end up doing is coming through and probably every other one, I'll pull it up and I'll just replant it further down. As far as thinning goes, I don't want to cut it. I want it to keep growing, so I'm just going to transplant. I'm just going to transplant it in a different place. So the idea is here. I'm really hoping that this whole bean house works out. Our first frost date is, it keeps changing. It was December 1st. Now it's like November 10th or something. So your frost date can go 2 weeks either way. So we could get our first frost November 1st and it could knock all of this out. Or we could get our first frost December 1st and it would be completely fine and gives everything plenty of time to grow up. So these pole beans grow from seed to maturity in about 55 to 60 days, which is, we still have plenty of time for that, for them to grow and we can get beans. In this bed, I planted out a bunch of lettuces. So we got lettuces here, and then there's broccolis all the way down, cabbage, and it keeps going. They are very small now, but they will get big very fast. Let's take a quick look at these banana plants. So I was worried that this one was going to die. It's coming back to life, so that's good.
So it means that the rhizomes and the roots in the bottom are growing. They're doing exactly what they need to do. And whenever these die off in the fall, I'll cut them down, and then spring, they will grow back. Hopefully with some pups attached. This one's looking cool. Pretty. Pineapple plant. That one has a cute little pineapple on it. This one does not. It will put off its fruit in the spring. Let's see over here. I need to amend this bed and add a bunch more herbs because we're down. But I did plant a bunch of onions. These are green sprouting onions, and they're starting to come up. Here's a wheelbarrow full of pots I had the kids get for me. So I still need to clean this up. Ooh, look at our pepper. Haven't gotten any peppers this year because the deers like them. So I'm letting that go as long as I possibly can.
Pepper.
Yeah, pepper. These tomatoes are Brad's Atomic tomato. We've got one here waiting for it to ripen.
Kill the spider ham.
Since they've all been eaten anyway, let's just do a little digging and see what the sweet potatoes look like.
Oh, there's a radioactive spider in there. Ah, come on.
Oh, they're gonna be small. Okra plant's falling over. I allowed the okra to get as big as it possibly can. I want to save the seeds. We did not have a good okra year, or a good gardening year for that fact. So I'm trying to save as much seeds as I possibly can. It'll save me on having to buy seeds next year. And it also goes hand in hand with self-sufficiency. You can grow your things, you save your own seeds, and you can plant new plants next year. And we also have a bunch of basil here. A lot of it is pretty much spent, so I'm going to be pulling off all the bad leaves. Pretty much the top is what I'm keeping here. And everything else I'm just leaving to compost in place. The majority of the basil is past its prime, so I only want what's good. My bucket is full. I need to go empty it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff washed and loaded in the dehydrator, and I will be back very soon, either to show you me putting it in the dehydrator or just picking more. I have nothing planned for today. I'm just trying to turn the camera on today. That's the goal.